If you ask me to rate how many stars, the highest I've given it so far is 4.5 for Gojira.
Yes.
Right. I would give it 4.5 and a little bit.
Really?
Because, yeah.
You think it was better?
I think so. My enjoyment of it was much better. Yeah.
Well, it was a hugely enjoyable movie. I don't think it was better than Godzilla. I enjoyed this more than How to Train Your Dragon 2. So I'll give it a 4.
How many stars would you give this movie?
I'll be quite complimentary and say I'll give it 2 stars.
I'll give it 1 star for the whole reason is that, as like you, although I don't have in-depth knowledge in this area or real in-depth interest that you have.
Yes, interest, not really knowledge. Yes.
What do you call it? It was very intriguing. I was mesmerized for the first 5-10 minutes, thinking that really, can this really happen? You know, that sort of thing. As soon as he went into interweb, it became like any other run-of-the-mill Hollywood blockbuster-ish movie, and that was the biggest disappointment that I had with it. I personally would give it about 2.5 stars.
Really?
He did what he wanted to do. He didn't care about what other people thought. That half star goes for effort, but two stars would be for basically it was an enjoyable and well done movie.
I would actually give it higher, actually 3.5. Of course, see the initial idea of making a movie about the flood.
That deserves 1.5 stars already. Overall, how many stars would you give it?
I would give it 2.5, I think, because it's quite enjoyable when you're there. You know, you won't remember much of it afterwards, but when you're there, it's quite enjoyable. Second thing, it's 1.5 hours, so that's always good when it's 90 minutes. Third thing is it's Luc Besson, so you know I tend to sort of just take it as it comes. I like the weirdness. I like his style of directing and the cinematography. So because of that, I'll give it 2.5.
I'll give it 2.5 as well. I think mainly because it's a Luc Besson movie, and I think after Leon and Fifth Element, he has won a lot of leeway because of those two great. I would think that they are great movies. They should be put on a pedestal. And the fact that Lucy has got elements of Leon, has got elements of Fifth Element, that makes it an okay watch.
Yes.
2.5 stars is a fair what do you call rating to give it.
Yeah. Can go on forever with this one as well. So,
personally, I'll give it 3 stars. Very enjoyable for a small movie. It's 1.5 hours to 2 hours of time well spent. And if you are into sci-fi movies, this is something that you should consider watching.
Yeah, again, this was also something about 90 minutes. I think. Yeah, so that's great. The pacing is great. I'll give it 3.5. I think you know those. If you have time on your hands, you should watch it. It's come to a point as well. Like I said, you know, as we were talking, suddenly I realized, wait a minute, I really need to watch a few scenes again, just to make sure I got it right the first time.
So how many stars?
Out of 5, I'll give it a 3. I think it's worth watching if you don't have your expectations set too high. I think the science fiction elements are quite good. The special effects, the acting.
I give it a 2. I think 3 is a bit generous for it. Not because I disliked it. They did quite well with special effects. It wasn't tacky, seamless.
Quite seamless, it looks like sort of it belongs. So
that's why it's a showcase. This is what I can do. I can do special effects, I can do slow motion kung fu kicks, but I thought it was a bit disjointed. The pace was a bit too slow for me. For me, at best, a 2-star movie. So, how many stars would you give it?
If I was a young adult, which unfortunately I no longer am, I'd give it 4.5. But because I'm much older now, 3.5 actually. It's extremely enjoyable.
I think I'll give it 3.5 stars as well, because it was very gripping. 3.5 stars. Yeah, go watch it. It's recommended.
Yes, please do.